Bitcoin, guys, again, listen, nailed this top perfectly, 107 to 108,000. I've given you guys the keys to the castle in these game plans. I took shorts with the Smart Money Crypto crowd as well as the Smart Money Stocks crowd. We covered those this morning right into technical support.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. In this video, Gareth Soloway reveals institutional-level analysis and techniques to retail investors.
I told you guys 91 to 92 is going to be support. We kissed that level. If that breaks, we go to 75,000. But ultimately, again, right now we're getting a little bit of a bounce here. Gold today, small little uptick there. So a little bit of an uptick on the charts on gold. Notice safe haven demand is key here, guys. So again, we are seeing safe haven, which is gold, be doing well while crypto and stocks are getting crushed. I think, again, we look to buy gold on weakness here. I still think gold could go a little bit lower over the next week or two, but ultimately, I think gold is what you want to be accumulating. If you think about it, there's not a lot of alternatives. You have money markets paying maybe 4%, and then you have gold. If you're not in risk assets, those are your options. There's not a lot of options out there. Real estate's not good. Stocks obviously looking very weak. Crypto looking weak. All of these things, again, it doesn't leave many opportunities aside from the gold chart as well as, really Bitcoin if it comes down enough, but gold mainly in money markets. Silver today inching down a little bit. Eventually, I think silver gets here, but it is oversold. So notice again, oversold. And by the way, oversold also because the dollar is very toppy here. So the dollar has had a tremendous move up. Look for the dollar. It is already pulling back a little bit. The dollar could pull back more. All right, 10-year yields also tagged a major level of resistance here. Look at this upsloping trend line. I expect yields to fall. A way to play that would be to buy TLT. So look for a retrace pullback on the U.S. 10-year yield right here. All right. In terms of the NASDAQ 100 here, if we look at the NASDAQ, we can see, again, it broke this key upsloping trend line of support. So same thing on the NASDAQ, right? If we zoom out, we have this low here through here, and that brings support all the way up there. You have this level, which will be some support, but really this one is going to be your mega level down here. Upsloping trend lines generally are what we call hidden trend lines. Most people won't see them as much, and they are more powerful because of that. All right, so again, we are seeing that on the radar. Tesla today trading down pre-market into this level. You can see it's a little bit of a bounce. Look at this trend line right here. See that trend line? That's this trend line right here, parallel. There is support around 408, or a pierce of 400 would be that even number, somewhere in that vicinity if it gets pierced on the day, but a lot of support down there. Now, I don't like it as a long-term or swing trade long, but as a day trade today, heck yeah, there should be some fantastic opportunities. NVIDIA also down on the day, although slowly inching up, still ahead of the PCE data. We see the daily chart is still as nasty as it comes. And let's not forget, folks, the SMH. I pointed this out. The SMH has this big head shoulder. And if this keeps rolling over and this breaks, good night to the semis. This would be an atrocious breakdown with downside of 30 to 40 more % at that point.
Michael Saylor, chairman of MicroStrategy business intelligence firm, dropped his usual post on X. The message reflects Saylor's bullish disposition to Bitcoin regardless of market dynamics. As the current price rapidly declines, Saylor has ignored the gloom and issued a notable message to Bitcoin investors. Saylor issued a forward statement, "Wear a hard hat." The Bitcoin enthusiast attached an image of himself in an orange hard hat, inscribed with Bitcoin and a vest. Behind him are screens of market activities as traders stare at what might be an ongoing gloomy market run. Despite the tense atmosphere, Saylor maintains that investors must wear a hard hat as the market suffers, which could be a momentary crash. Notably, workers stay safe on a construction site by wearing a hard hat to protect themselves from crashing objects. Saylor appears to have the same advice for Bitcoin investors to protect themselves. Analysts suggest that investors could use stop-loss orders, hedge with derivatives, or monitor market sentiments in a crashing market. However, the Bitcoin advocate would rather stay calm and stick to his Bitcoin accumulation plan for Saylor. Saylor continues to stick to his massive accumulation strategy on Bitcoin regardless of price. When Bitcoin hit $100,700 after suffering a momentary dip, Saylor rejected the idea of selling for profit-taking in an interview. He maintained that the Bitcoin community would never trust MicroStrategy should it decide to sell BTC. This highlights Saylor's and MicroStrategy's holding strategy.
If we flip over to the SPY, we are seeing the markets are down pretty sharply on the day. We're getting a little bit of a bounce. Now, the only kicker and the only potential saving grace today is going to be the PCE data. PCE data is coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and again, that will be a key metric to see, is inflation as bad as we think, or is the PCE going to show us slightly better? And again, that could maybe save the markets a little bit. Either way, I would think there's a down day today just based on institutional money being like, hey, listen, we don't even want to mess around for the next 2 weeks being off. We don't want to think about it. So they could be selling. But either way, maybe there's a glimmer of hope. But if not, if we get a worse than expected PCE number, watch out below. All right, let's go back to the charts here and see. If we look at the charts and we flip over to the daily chart on the S&P, we do have some good indicators of breakdowns beginning. And again, you can see yesterday was a failed bounce. So buy the dippers came in, markets opened up. By the end of the day, we were flat. We've broken below this trend line here, unconfirmed, but today it could confirm. The levels to watch right here on the SPY, right here, there's a gap fill at 576.70. And then this little double bottom pivot point at around 567.30. Those would be my two big levels. But let's just talk, reality here. What we're looking at, you want to take this 2023. So this was really to be the end of the bear market was right here. I mean, you kind of could make a case here, but this was your last big long-term pullback. Notice one dip, bounce, two dips, bounce, three dips. That makes essentially a downturn. And if you take that low and you connect it here, look at this, guys. So what does this tell us in terms of technicals? It tells us that this might be a small bounce level. This would be your bigger bounce level here, which would be around 5,660 on the S&P. So look for further downside to not necessarily all today. I want to be clear on that. I'd be very surprised if we drop that much, although anything's possible. But if we get here, this is where you'd expect a bigger bounce. The coordination of this area with this area right here, that gives us a firm level.
Saylor has hinted at changing MicroStrategy's fundraising approach to add more intelligent leverage. Having achieved targets faster than anticipated, Saylor says the company will continue to raise capital, primarily via fixed income markets. He believes the company needs more leverage to compensate for its increasing deleveraged position. Another publicly traded company has joined the growing ranks of firms incorporating cryptocurrencies into their treasury strategies. On December 20, biopharmaceutical company Quantum Biopharma disclosed the purchase of $1 million worth of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. The company's shares on the Nasdaq were down nearly 10% following the announcement. Quantum Biopharma is also listed on the Canadian Securities Exchange and on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. The company offers biotech solutions for the treatment of a variety of disorders, including neurodegenerative diseases, metabolic syndromes, and alcohol misuse disorders. The company is now set up to receive financing in cryptocurrencies, as well as executing other types of transactions in cryptocurrencies. Quantum said in a statement, without disclosing the tokens compounding its crypto portfolio. An increasing number of non-crypto businesses are turning to cryptocurrencies to diversify their assets and hedge against inflation. The latest U.S. Consumer Price Index data indicates that inflation rose by 2.7% year-over-year in November 2024, up from 2.6% in October, aligning with market expectations. On a monthly basis, the CPI increased by 0.3% in November, marking the most significant rise in 7 months. In November, the wellness and plant-based e-commerce Jiva Technologies approved a plan to invest up to $1 million in BTC, citing its potential as an inflation-resistant store of value. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.